Yes, guys, welcome to a brand new podcast. I'm your host, Conan, and today we're going to be talking about how you can still eat out, eat the food you love, have some fun with your friends and family while reaching your fitness goals. So let's get into it. Now, when it comes to eating out, it can be now, when it comes to eating out, it can often be a challenge, especially when it comes to maintaining a healthy diet and staying on track with your fitness goals. However, with a little bit of planning and mindfulness, it is definitely possible to still enjoy a meal out, either on your own, with friends, or with a however, with a little bit of planning, with a little bit of planning and mindfulness, it is definitely possible to still enjoy a meal out either on your own, with friends, or with family, while still making healthy choices. So, in today's presentation, I'll provide you with some tips and strategies for making smart food choices while dining out and maintaining your fitness goals. From researching menus in advance to staying active, from researching menus in advance to staying active and being mindful of portion sizes, you can still enjoy eating out while staying on track with your fitness goals. So, without any further ado, let's just jump straight into it. The first tip I have for you guys is to keep it small. So, oftentimes at restaurants, the portion sizes are absolutely massive, especially compared to the ones that you would normally have at home. So, if you guys are watching the presentation, you can see like a visual representation of what you would typically have at home in terms of the portion size versus the portion size you get at restaurants. They always double it, triple it, even quadruple it. And because of that, it just adds a bunch of extra calories, extra fats, extra carbs into that meal, right? And so, when possible, if you want to be mindful of like the calories and stuff, ask for half portions or share a large meal with a friend or pack up some of your meal. So have some of it and then pack up the rest of your meal and take it home to eat it either for later or eat it the next day. And with that said, I will definitely 100% avoid supersizing your meals because, like I said, a regular meal is already so much bigger than an actual meal you would have at home. So avoid supersizing because, like I said, they're often higher in calories, fat, sugar, and or sodium. So that's the first tip I have for you guys. The second tip here is ask for more veggies. Vegetables are a great low-calorie dense food, and basically what that means is that they're very low in calories, but they provide a lot of volume to your meals, which is amazing because this will help you stay nice and full without eating a bunch of unnecessary extra calories. So to get more volume for your meals, without adding too many extra calories, ask for extra veggies either on your sandwich, wraps, burgers, and pizzas. At a restaurant, you can also order like a side of leafy greens or salad or cooked vegetables. And when possible, also try to substitute your fries with vegetables. Like I said, this is a lower calorie, healthier option when eating out. When I go to Subway, I love loading up on vegetables. The visual picture here, you can see the lady just like the visual picture here on the presentation, you can see the lady here picking the vegetables. Whenever I go to Subway, I get a sandwich and I literally ask for every single vegetable. This will load up the sandwich, make it a lot more dense without adding that many calories. So that's a great little tip for you guys. Thirdly is whole grains. So look for dishes made with whole grains such as quinoa, brown rice, barley, or oats. Many restaurants nowadays offer whole wheat or whole grain buns, tortilla wraps, pasta, or pizza crust upon request. And the added fiber will definitely help keep you fuller. So avoid doing like the white rice, the white bread, whatever, and instead opt for like the whole grain version they because they have more fiber and this will help you stay fuller for longer, which is great. And now this is a really, really important one. And I see a lot of people make this mistake. And I just often ask myself, what is the purpose of this? But that is do not, and I repeat, do not drink your calories. This is arguably one of, if not the most important tips when eating out, because you're eating out already, right? You're going to be eating a bunch of calories by just simply eating the meal. And so, what is the purpose of you adding extra calories to that by you drinking your calories? When it comes to drinking your calories in specific, even when this is like at home, like there's no use to it because liquid calories do not fill you up at all. And nowadays there's so many different there are so many other alternatives. So for example, with any with any sodas, any pops. So for example, nowadays with any diets, there are diet with any sodas, there are diet sodas so with any soda nowadays, there are diet soda alternatives. So instead of having an actual Coke, have a Coke, have a Diet Coke or have a Coke Zero. Instead of having a Pepsi, have a Diet Pepsi. Instead of having a Fanta, have a Diet Fanta. There are so many alternatives nowadays, and I know it may and I know it may not really taste the same. However, with that said, though, I can tell just from experience that over time you'll get used to it and it won't really bother you as much because it's like deep down you know that okay, this is 0 calories. Like I'm not expecting it to be like amazing, right? But still, it is 0 calories. And considering that it is 0 calories and it doesn't have any calories in them, it's like okay, this is a lot better than just drinking water, right? And so personally, whenever I go, I just ask for water instead. This is probably like the best, healthiest option. But if you do still want to satisfy your sweet tooth and just want to have a nice, refreshing drink alongside of your meal, do not ask for the full sugar drink. Ask for a diet drink instead. The same thing goes with alcohol. Like I know a lot of people like drinking alcohol, whether it's beer or margaritas, whatever when they eat out. I personally I don't drink alcohol. I actually highly dislike the taste of it. But if you do want to drink alcohol, I would definitely say go for like the lighter version when possible. Another couple options you can ask for is sparkling water with like some lemon or lime wedges alongside it. And again, when you do drink alcohol, try to go for like the lighter version. Or if you insist on having the actual thing, then I will definitely limit it to just 1 or 2 drinks for the day. Don't go overboard because again you're already at a restaurant eating your food and there's absolutely no need for you to like add more calories to that by you drinking your calories, right? So if there's anything you guys take away from this presentation is to do not drink your calories, not just at restaurants but just in general, and but just in your day-to-day in general, especially if your goal is fat loss and you want to lose weight and you want to be in a calorie deficit. You're just going to be making it a lot harder on yourself by you drinking your calories. So instead opt for physically eating actual food instead of you drinking your food. Next up, ask for grilled versus Next up, ask for grilled and not fried. Next up, ask for grilled and not fried food. So order food that has been steamed, baked, broiled, grilled, or roasted, and foods that are deep fried or breaded. So order foods that have been steamed, baked, broiled, grilled, or roasted, and avoid foods that are deep fried or breaded because they are usually a lot higher in calories. And so at Chick-fil-A, you can obviously get the deep fried chicken nuggets or chicken breasts, whatever they're called, or you can get the grilled chicken breasts or grilled chicken nuggets, whatever. And you guys can clearly see that, and you guys can clearly see the calorie difference here in the visual picture. So for the grilled chicken, it's only 130 calories, 3 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb, and 25 grams of protein, which is absolutely phenomenal. Whereas the deep fried chicken is 250 calories, 11 grams of fat, 11 grams of carbs, and 27 grams of protein. So the grilled version, obviously, it's the same amount of volume. It'll still fill you up the same, but it's almost less than half of the calories. And so definitely, when possible, try to avoid the deep fried or breaded stuff and opt for like the grilled version instead. The last step here is to look ahead. This is something I personally do all the time, especially when I'm going to like a fancy restaurant where it's like a sit down, dine in type of vibe. I always look ahead. So I go on their website and I look for the nutritional information and I look at some of the menu options in advance. And so this allows me to know exactly like how many calories each kind of meal has prior to me actually going into the restaurant. This also saves me a bunch of time from like having to scroll through the menu oftentimes when looking at the menu you get bombarded by like all these different options, right? And it can be kind of like almost just stressful in a way. It's like, oh my god, there's almost like decision fatigue where it's like you're faced with so many different options, so many different alternatives. It's like, oh, should I get the burger or should I get the pizza instead, or should I get the fries on the side, or should I get a salad on the side? Whereas if you just like look ahead on the menu online ahead of time, it'll save you so much just like unnecessary stress from like having to look into the menu. Plus, you know exactly what you want to get and you know how many calories it has as well. So that's a great kind of hack for you guys as well. And one quick thing before I kind of wrap things up is that whenever you go out to a restaurant, whether it's like a fast food restaurant or a Subway or like a dine-in type of restaurant, I would always overestimate versus underestimate because oftentimes restaurants will sneak in some added oil, some added butter, some added fats, And again, they're not going to weigh out the food, right? It's like if it says it has like whatever 50 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat. I mean, realistically speaking, I will probably add a bit more to that because they're not going to be weighing out the portion sizes, right? They don't have a food scale in their kitchen to make sure that, okay, this is exactly 200 grams of rice and exactly 15 grams of butter on top of the chicken breast. Like, no, they're not going to do that. Most chefs, especially if they're like a good chef, they just eyeball things, right? And so oftentimes when the menu says, okay, this meal has 500 calories, more than likely it has a lot more. So it's always better to overestimate when tracking your food than underestimate, right? Just to keep yourself just to be on the safer side. And that's pretty much all that I have for you. So hopefully you can start implementing some of these tips. So hopefully you can start implementing some of the so hopefully you can start implementing some of these tips when next time you go out for dinner, or next time you go out to or next time you go out to a fast food restaurant. Keep in mind that there are always healthier alternatives no matter where you go, whether it's a restaurant or fast food restaurant. There are always healthier alternatives. At McDonald's, for example, they have the McMuffin. At McDonald's, for example, they have the egg McMuffin, but they also have the egg white delight. So it's basically a lot lower in calories and also has a lot less fat. So every single restaurant you go to, there are always healthier alternatives. So please be mindful of that next time you go out. And then, of course, do not drink your calories. Just have a water or have a diet soda or any diet drink as well. And one last thing before I let you guys go is that if you do go out and you do decide to have a higher calorie meal, or you do decide to have a higher calorie meal, or you have something on the menu that you know is probably not the healthiest option, but you do have it anyway, I do not want you guys to stress about it whatsoever. Because the entire point of eating out is mainly just to socialize and just have a good time with like your friends, your family, or the people you're around with, right? And so if you're constantly just like asking the server for like, oh, can you not add as much butter on the dish, or can you try to grill it instead of deep frying it, or can you just like add veggies instead of fries on the side? I mean, yes, in certain situations it is good to be mindful of that, but if it's on a special occasion, or if you rarely go out and this is like super special to you, you want to have a good time and you don't really want to worry about like, oh, how many calories does this have, or oh, I have to stay on track. Like, absolutely not, right? We all always live we only live once, and I think we only live once. And there's this great saying that basically states that, and there's this great saying which is memories over macros. Sometimes it's just better to just create some fun memories with your friends and family and have some good food alongside you, compared to you always having to stress out about eating healthy, staying on track, hitting your calories, hitting your macros, right? So one day is not going to ruin all your progress. Keep that in mind. This presentation was mainly just to give you some tips, and hopefully some and hope just to give you some tips and a bit of a different perspective, be- and a bit of a different perspective, just to show you guys that yes, there are healthier alternatives, but it's not the end of the world if you do decide to go the unhealthier route. So that's all that I have for you for today's presentation. If you guys do have any questions for me, please drop them down below. Hopefully this all made sense to you guys, and I'll speak to y'all soon. Peace.